So the first principle that we put in here was realizing opportunities. And we wanted to start there because ethics is too quickly moves into harms and things that really scare people. But we wanted to make sure that people understood that location data is such a powerful tool for doing good in the world too. And there is so much opportunity if you've got good, rich, detailed location data. The second we've got is understanding impacts. You know, as many practitioners would know, it's never straightforward to collect data. You rarely get exactly what you want. And so looking at the impacts of how you're collecting, what you're doing, what the decision will be at the other end of it is really important there. The third one I think is really simple. It's do no harm, which sounds really easy. And I think this is one of those ones that we need to explore a lot more as a community of what we mean by harms. How do we prevent them? What are the things we can put in place to stop harm from happening? And if a harm is going to happen, how do we help fix it or repair what's going to occur as because of that? The fourth is protect the vulnerable. It might mean vulnerable places. And so I think it's really important for us as people that look at geography, as practitioners that work with location and places, to think, are there vulnerable people within this that might be impacted by what we're sharing, by what we're exposing? Are there vulnerable places that if we share the location of where they are they going to be more vulnerable at the other side of what we do? The fifth is addressing bias. So bias feeds its way into everything we do, and sometimes that's fine. But what we say with the principle is address that. Be clear about that. Be transparent about the potential biases that you're aware of in the location information that you're collecting and you're using. Our sixth principle is minimizing intrusion. And that's really about, how far do you get into people's lives? Just because we can collect something at the tiny micro dot resolution. And I think it's important then to sort of say, don't collect what you don't need, just because you can. And that feeds really well into principle number 7, and that's to minimize data. So don't just collect because you can. Collect what you really need and stop. The 8th one, I think for most people would be very, very clear, and that's protect privacy. You don't need to collect private information about people, don't. And if you are, you really have an obligation to protect that privacy of people. So principle number 9 is a specific one that says prevent the identification of individuals. With location data, often a single set of location data is quite simple. It doesn't necessarily have the ability to identify a person. But the moment you start connecting that with other information, it can become very, very easy to identify people. And the last one I think is one of my favorites, which is providing accountability. At the end of the day, we make decisions all the time with this data about how we're going to shape it, how we're going to use it. We need to own when we get it right and also when we get it wrong.